YouTube, Richician of Team Sorcerers here, and welcome back to my Yu-Gi-Oh! History segment thing. And in this one, it's actually another request by one of my subscribers, Matthew Welch, and this is the story about how Elemental Hero's Shining Flare Wingman, my favourite hero monster, became my second favourite card. Now, as you know, I'm a big fan of the Elemental Heroes as well as the Dark Magician. I mean, I like Dark Magician a lot more, but Elemental Heroes still hold a special place in my heart. Now, obviously, I got interested in them quite early on when GX started showing, especially since I love comic book superheroes like Superman and Spider-Man. And I first saw Elemental Hero's Shining Flare Wingman like in the old Yu-Gi-Oh! World magazine in late 2005. As it was a review on elemental energy, and Shining Flare Wingman was of course listed as one of the cards, and I was reading the article, obviously, read what Shining Flare Wingman did, and I was like, okay, this is actually really cool, but it requires another fusion monster to go into it, which is Flame Wingman, obviously. So, I mean, I think I was willing to try it out anyway, but I figured it would be a bit too difficult to go into. And then, sometime in about February 2006, I remember after a regional tournament I went to, me and the other Yu-Gi-Oh! Players went to Burger King to have a late lunch and duel in there, and I duelled this guy who was playing Elemental Heroes, and there was one point where he went Polymerization, fuse King of the Swamp with Sparkman. I was like, oh boy, here comes Thunder Giant, and he summoned Shining Flare Wingman. I was like, whoa, wait, what? Shining Flare Wingman? And then it just kind of hit me afterwards. I was like, oh yeah, King of the Swamp. I forgot. I can just simply use that as a substitute for Flame Wingman if I want to go into this guy. Like, although I was on the receiving end of a Shining Flare Wingman, it was just so cool seeing the card in action. And I was like, this is incredible, I love this card. Unfortunately though, I was having a lot of difficulty getting it, because obviously it hadn't been reprinted yet and was only out as an Ultra and Ultimate Rare. So it was one of the many cards I was trying to pick up for my Elemental Hero deck, because it was still under construction at the time, and I didn't finish building my Elemental Hero deck until about June in 2006, but I didn't have Shining Flare Wingman in the deck, and I remember asking for it as a birthday present, and I actually got it. I'm not sure if this is the exact same one, but I do know that I ended up with a playset of first edition Ultra Rares from Elemental Energy. This is obviously the one I use in my current format Elemental Hero deck. The other two, I believe, are in either my April 06 or September 07 format Elemental Hero decks. Probably the September 07 one, because, like I keep saying, September 07 was my absolute favourite format ever, even though Monarchs and Demise OTK were floating around. Um, so yeah, I finally got hold of Shining Flare Wingman, and it was just so much fun bringing him out and just overwhelming the opponent. Although there was a point though, like quite late on in 2006, that I actually stopped playing Flame Wingman and Phoenix Enforcer, because obviously Shining Flare Wingman and Shining Phoenix Enforcer are obviously superior to the original versions. So it made more sense to just get straight to the point, basically. Although I did, of course, end up putting Flame Wingman back in my Elemental Hero deck, like in the spring of 2012. But I did, of course, use Flame Wingman in my Jaden character deck, which I put together in either late 2009, early 2010. So at least I still used Flame Wingman in something. But going back to Shining Flare Wingman, despite playing Elemental Heroes the way that they generally play, my strategy over the last 14, 15 years would basically be to build up to Shining Flare Wingman, bring him out late game, and then finish the opponent off. And yeah, that was just so much fun. And Shining Flare Wingman has won me so many games, like whether it was pure Elemental Heroes, Legendary Hero, or Dark Magician Hero. Shining Flare Wingman would be my go-to guy, and as a result, he took the mantle of Dark Paladin as my favourite fusion monster, and also took the mantle of Guildford the Lightning, who was originally my favourite warrior. Obviously Dark Paladin and Guildford are still some red-hot favourites. Dark Paladin became my second favourite, and then got bumped down to third favourite when Rainbow Neos came along, and Rainbow Neos, of course, became my second favourite fusion monster and my third favourite card in the game. But still, Dark Paladin's still up there in the top 3 favourite fusions of mine, whereas Guildford the Lightning is among my top 10 favourite warriors of all time. For more information on that, see my top 20 favourite warrior list, and my other top 10 videos that I've done. But yeah, basically Shining Flare Wingman became like the ace monster of my Elemental Hero deck, and the boss monster. Now, as I've said several times before, while Elemental Heroes don't have a specific boss monster, to me, Shining Flare Wingman is the boss monster of my Elemental Hero deck. I'm gutted when I don't manage to summon him, but yeah, I try to, and if I do, then I just have more fun with my Elemental Hero deck. I just wish I could play more copies of him, because as it stands, I only play one copy in my Elemental Hero deck right now, because last year I had to make room for Elemental Hero Sunrise, and there wasn't really anything else I wanted to take out. See, this is why I wish the extra deck limit was higher. Not too high, obviously, but I'd say bring it up to 20. It's like I don't really see what harm that would do, really. Like 5 extra monsters surely won't hurt, right? And obviously, I believe no matter how consistent a deck is, you are never ever going to summon every single monster in your extra deck. Like, it's just not possible. Like, well, I know I managed it with my Raid Raptors in the first Raid boss game, but like that was a different kind of duel. It wasn't a normal duel, and they weren't normal circumstances. But yeah, that's a problem we hero players have. There's just never enough room for all the fusion monsters that we want to play. Of course, if I did try to put a second copy in again, then I'll probably end up taking out either Wild Wingman or Dark Bright, because of all the fusion monsters that I play in my Elemental Hero deck, these are the ones I make the least. In fact, I hardly ever summon them at all. Although that being the case, I might end up dropping Dark Bright, purely because I want to keep Wild Wingman in there, because he's an extra form of back row removal. I mean, I don't want to take out any of the classic Elemental Hero fusions, but as it stands, there is literally nothing I want to take out. Here's the fusion deck. Yeah, I call it the fusion deck because like it's all fusions. I don't play any other extra deck monsters in my pure Elemental Hero deck at all. Like, here's all the classic anime ones that I play. Here's Sunrise, and then one of each of all the Omni Elemental Heroes, just because the Omni Elemental Heroes are a necessity. And there is also Trinity, which is pretty much a staple for any hero deck now. Like, it's just too good not to run, and yeah, I'd rather have Trinity than not have it at all. Like, it's another fusion monster that is good to bring out, like when I'm on the brink of losing, and then I get that out, and the tide just turns. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about Shining Flare Wingman, really. Like, that's the whole story of how he became my second favourite card. Come to think of it, I'm actually surprised that I never made a deck specifically based around him. Like, I don't know why, because in the past I've made other hero decks focusing on specific heroes, like Neos Beat Down, Blade Edge Beat Down, the deck based on Elemental Hero Mariner, Elemental Hero Divine Neos. So yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't know why I never made one specifically based on Shining Flare Wingman. I don't know. I suppose, if anything, maybe I could just redesign my Elemental Hero deck and make it solely based on Shining Flare Wingman. I don't know. But I still want to have something that's focusing on the classic Elemental Heroes. Anyway, that's all I got, so thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe if you haven't subbed already. And stay safe, and I'll see you guys later.